concerned about Russian interference in the business of the United States, and you think that they are a rival, maybe even an enemy with which we're at war, as some of your colleagues have said, then you've got to be pretty concerned that a Russian company has exported American uranium without a license outside our borders and off this continent.
Right, I know there's a report about that. We should look into it.
No, it's actually been looked into and confirmed by the New York Times a couple of years ago, and today again by The Hill. No one involved denies it.
Right, we should look into it.
Well, here's what we know. We know that in 2012, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, I'm quoting now, authorized an amendment to an export license for a Paducah, Kentucky-based trucking firm that moved this yellow cake uranium, which can be used for a bunch of different purposes, good and bad, to leave the country. I mean, are you concerned about that?
Of course I'm concerned about it, and we should look into it. I don't know.
If I look into it, I mean, why wouldn't you have maybe a criminal probe into this? Why would you allow our main geopolitical rival to move uranium off the continent?
Right, well, I don't think that's what the Hill story said, but I'm agreeing with you that we should look into it.
Oh, no, actually, that's exactly what it said.
Well, no, I think it said that that some may have gone to Europe, and I think you said that we don't know where it went, and that's fair. Let's find out. So I'm concerned, you bet. I'm not sure what your point is.
Yeah, my point is that you're not concerned at all. It's obvious how unconcerned you are.
I'm sorry, I'm not correct.
No, but see, I maybe made the mistake of taking you serious.
Excuse me, I just said I'm concerned and we should investigate it.
You're obviously not concerned. If you were concerned,
what would you like
you would have known about this story a long time ago, as I did, as anyone who cares about this did. If you are really as worried about Russian interference as you have said repeatedly that you are, then why wouldn't you be on this with both feet, trying to determine who allowed this, why, and where the yellow cake?
Right. I'm sorry that you're upset that I'm agreeing with you that we should look into it. I don't know that we can't walk and chew gum at the same time. And in the week when we've had indictments and confessions of guilt relating to Russian influence and money laundering and the rest, and as you pointed out, the influence of foreign lobbying by governments on government officials, I'm not sure it's the only thing we should look at.
Okay.
I'm agreeing with you.
Here's something that you could do like tonight, and that is demand that your colleagues make public their meetings with foreign lobbyists. There's no requirement to do that. Now, it's not clear why.
Yeah, I'll do you one better. I'd ban it. I don't think there should be any foreign lobbying by governments of members of Congress. It should be illegal. And people shouldn't get paid money by foreign governments to come and lobby members of Congress. I'd ban it, because that's what we have a State Department before. So if members of Congress want to talk to government officials, that's fine. They should. But we shouldn't have lobbyists getting paid for that. Let's ban it. Well, how about that?
Let me emphatically agree with you and ask a follow-up question, which is, now that we know that Russian-backed Ukrainian interests paid Paul Manafort a lot of money. He distributed it to a couple lobbying firms, one basically a Republican firm, the other the top Democratic firm in town in Washington, to go up to the Hill and lobby members. We know that they met with the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Senator Menendez of New Jersey. We can't get a straight answer from his office about how many meetings and with whom he had. Why can't we?
Well, you should ask Senator Menendez that. I don't do his schedule.
Have you met with any lobbyists representing foreign interests of any kind since you've been in Congress?
No.
Your colleagues have, and I wonder why I don't have a right to know who they met with and what they talked about.
Right, you should, and I'd ban it. So I think you and I agree about this.
No, but we don't fully agree. I mean, I agree with you in the banning, and God bless you. But because there's a story here about Russian interference in our government, things that have happened for years, and now that we know some of the details in this indictment, Paul Manafort's indictment,
right?
Why shouldn't we be able to get to the bottom of it? Congress has exempted itself from these reporting requirements.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the Manafort indictment. That might bear some attention too. But the fact is that I am, for the third or fourth time, agreeing with you. I think not only should members disclose those foreign lobbying
Well, how can we get them to disclose as a member of the body?
I told you I would leapfrog you and ban it. So what I can do is I can introduce legislation.
Look, you know it's not going to get banned. Let's start the first step, which is, why don't you call upon the Democratic leader to demand that all Democrats under her leadership release a comprehensive list of the meetings they've had with foreign lobbyists.
Right, I'm sure you'd want the Republicans to do that.
100% I would.
Right, well, it wasn't in your
plan. There were Republicans involved. Hold on, there were Republicans involved in this. I'm not flacking for the Republicans.
No, somehow only Democrats made your question.
No, that's not, but you're a Democrat.
Correct.
And one with sway,
and I'm one that is here agreeing with you. That seems to trouble you in some way, but I don't know how to do it any more emphatically.
Are you?
I agree with you. In fact, I believe I went beyond your position of disclosure to banning it outright.
No, you didn't actually, because it's one thing to ban it going forward. Would you sponsor legislation requiring sitting members of Congress to disclose all the meetings they've had with foreign lobbyists?
Yeah, sure, if it makes you happy. How about
if it's good for America?
How about, you bet, let's do it. How about we also talk about the indictments that got handed down this week involving the president's campaign manager and his foreign policy advisor. Can we do that too?
His foreign policy
I know we filled a week of airtime on this show.
Policy advisor, it's hilarious.
Well, that's how he described him to the Washington Post. So
yeah, that's true.
I got that from the president who said that.
I think the Manafort thing, in case you're asking my opinion, is a serious thing. He was chairman of the president's campaign.
Right.
Totally fair.
He's under indictment.
Yeah, absolutely. The Papadopoulos
12 felonies.
kid, you're not at gunpoint going to get me to take that seriously. That's ridiculous. This kid was in no sense a foreign policy advisor. They couldn't get real foreign policy advisors, so they hauled a 29-year-old who'd been in the model UN in there to pretend to be one. And now he turns out to be an idiot. That's bad judgment, I guess, putting him on the advisor list, but you can't convince me that's a real thing, because it's not.
Well, I'd be careful about that, because if you hang your hat on how senior he was, you might want to consider for just a moment that the same actions he was engaged in and lied about to federal agents is very similar to the actions that were engaged in by now under indictment Paul Manafort, Donald Trump Jr., and Jared Kushner.
I don't know about Kushner.
When they met with Russian lawyers for the same purpose, which was to access...
Drawing a dumb connection. No, these are totally idiotic. I mean, there's no connection.
Excuse me. What is idiotic? It is not in dispute that the president's son and his son-in-law and Manafort, and we know about Manafort now, met with Russian lawyers who were there expressly to bring...
Let me repeat
on Hillary Clinton, which is
glib and totally insincere line when I say, let's look into that. Let's look into that.
Well, you've been. It's funny. I'm glad to hear you say that. Because for the better part of a year, you've been making fun of this investigation, and now we're taking it seriously.
Yeah, I think I'm taking the part that might affect American national security, including the Paul Manafort part.
That's good. And what we should do is we should let Bob Mueller do his work. Can we agree on that?
I totally agree.
Let me ask you another question.
I'm sorry, I'm being told I have to go. We've gone over, but I agree with you on that.